We are going to take a look at a little bit more complicated project just so you can practice entering different URLs and going to different views. And you can see a project with a little bit more meat on it. So we're going to download a project from GitHub. So you're going to click on the link and you can actually download this as a zipped file. And you're going to want to extract it. Then you're going to want to open the non-zipped decompressed folder and double click on the solution file. Now it's a kind of a good practice to run a build before you try to do anything else, just because sometimes there are some files that don't get pushed up to GitHub that MVC needs to download and install. And running the build just ensures everything is going to work. And we're going to go ahead and run this. It's a very simple little app. Okay, so you can see by default, this is the index page. Okay, so if we take a look at this, we've got two controllers here. Okay, we've got home and we've got product. And if we look at program CS, we can just double check on the default, which is home and index. So that tells us it is going to go to this index action method by default. And that is what you see. So they've kind of customized this page. Okay, and then if we click on the first link, what it's showing us in the URL is that it's now in the product controller. And this is the detail action method. So we have controllers and product. Okay, and so we have detail and we have list. So detail is expecting an ID, which makes sense because it's showing us one. And list shows us like a bunch of them. It shows us all of them. So let's go back to home here. So I'm assuming this is going to show us list because it's products, and that's exactly what it does. So this is the product controller and the list action method that it went through. So it went through this code. And then that routed to the list view. And you'll notice that it's passing the products. Okay, so it retrieved the products, stored them in a list, and it passed that list to the view so that you can see it. So some of this C# should look familiar. I mean, we've worked with lists. And if you look at the model here, we have a product model. So the class is product. You can see we have ID, name, and price. So it's pretty basic. And then we have the database seed values. So this is where the data is coming from, because this is not in a database. So here we have a list. It's called products. And we have basically populated the list with data. So that should look somewhat hopefully familiar to you guys. You've got to get your C# hats out. Okay, and let me see, we'll go back over to product. So it's grabbing all those products, passing them to the view. Okay, so it's going to the list view in the product folder. So let's take a look at that. Okay, and this is displaying them in a table. Okay, so here's the table, HTML. We've got a row in the header. Name and price is what displays. And then in the body, we've got the for each loop, okay, where it is displaying the product name and the product price. And you can see here, we've got some razor code indicating the model is list. And then the data type is the product class. Okay, so if we click on view, it's going to go back to detail and display, the first one. If I click on a different one, okay, so that was number 8. And then we've got about us. So not a whole lot going on. We've got basically, this would be a master and a detail. And by default, if you click on the detail, it's just going to take you to the first one. So if we look up here, so if we were to key in a number, it would grab that number. Otherwise, it's defaulting to 1. And here is the view. So let's play a little bit with the URL, because that's what you guys should be getting familiar with. And so if we just do the local host, it is going to go to index. Okay. And then does the same thing if we just key in home like this. It's going to default to index. Now, if we do about, we can go directly to the about page. If we do list, you can go directly, whoop, that's product though. If we go to the product controller list page, we can see that. And then if we just choose detail, okay, it's basically not giving us any data because we didn't give it a number. So we have to tell it the number that we want, and then it can actually retrieve detail from that number. And obviously, if we go with a number too high, it's not going to find anything. So let's take another look at the views. You'll notice in the views that it's got like a portion of the HTML, but there is a section of the HTML that is missing. That is because all views are actually pulled into layout. And it is the layout that has the entire structure of the HTML. And where it says at render body, that is where the view is pulled in. So this code that you see in the view is being pulled in to at render body. So it's coming right in here. Okay? And in the previous app that we were looking at, it worked the same way. So let me open that one. Oop, I have to stop this from running. In our MVC app here. In our MVC app, okay, not a whole lot going on in the individual views, but they were pulled into layout. And the layout has a lot going on, okay, because we've got that whole navigation menu that displays, and where the view information is pulled in is right here. Okay, and this is why all of the views display the menu. Okay, it's because the view portion is pulled in here, and this menu displays for all of them. Okay, we are going to be working a lot more with controllers and with views and models throughout the semester. So this is just kind of to give you a little overview of, how things work and what the conventions are.